Hello and welcome to Third Eye Thinkers. I'm your host, Michelle Welch.
And I'm your host, Megan Benanti.
Well, so Megan, we're here and I'm actually on time this week.
Yes,
Last week, I was stuck in traffic for 2 hours getting here.
Brutal.
So I am on time. So here we go.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit about why we decided to have this show. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, this was an opportunity for us to go in and help people and give sort of guidance and ideas and just things to think about. So we're the Third Eye Thinkers, and that is the idea that we want to help you open up your third eye and what's going to work for you. Michelle and I have had kind of a lot of experience in the field, and we like to explore a lot of ideas and thoughts, and so that's something that we wanted to begin to open up for you guys. I found personally with my own clients that a lot of people come in and they're really seeking on ways to grow spiritually, and they're not sure what that's going to look like for them, and they don't want to be they're afraid of like jumping off the deep end, of something being too freaky for them, but sometimes their traditions that they grew up with aren't working anymore. What are your thoughts?
Same. I think when, for us, we were talking earlier about how kind of the mainstream and what is normal. I mean, for me, look, beads and fringe and all those sorts of things. But to introduce to people, what is a psychic and are we really that strange? And to have a podcast where we could just talk about that and to say to people, really, it's not what TV always portrays it to be, or movies, right? Because it's the word psychic, and we'll get into that in a little while, but it's gotten a bit of a bad name, over time, and so we just wanted to bring it back down to where people could approach us and know that we're approachable, we're normal, whatever that word means, a little bit of mainstream. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for a long time. I really don't want to say how many years, but a lot of years. I actually passed the bar at 24, went to Baylor Law School. And you?
I worked in landscape for about 15 years and then have also been doing my psychic work for 18 years now.
Right.
So, and I did those simultaneously because that's what worked for me. So.
Right. And it was for me, picking juries. I always thought, wow, I'm so smart. I'm really good at picking juries. And I didn't realize that I was channeling that word. I was receiving information. I could look at a jury and know, not mind read per se, but I could know, well, Megan doesn't like me so much. Or know that juror might not be so good on the jury, so I could use my intuition to pick a jury and get a good jury, so to help with a favorable outcome in a case. It kind of felt like cheating in a way. But I thought, oh man, I'm so smart, I'm so great at this. And really, it's using your intuitive abilities, your psychic skills, right? So
absolutely.
I don't know about landscaping, maybe talking to the plants, right?
Well, I definitely had a strong love connection with my plants. And
So that's one of the things we were going to do. And I don't know if we'll do it every week, but we thought about introducing for you a plant or a flower, because you do know so much about flowers and plants. And I know a lot about crystals. I teach crystal classes.
Perfect.
So I won't introduce a law of the week, but we're going to try to tie in something we do in our everyday lives.
Yep.
You don't do as much landscaping, but tie that in. And so we were going to tie in a plant or a flower that you're going to bring and the properties that are associated with that can help us in our spirituality, or maybe something that's going on in our life, or the topic that we're dealing with for the week. And then the crystals also. And the thing about that is that plants, and you know this, but plants and crystals are some of the most high vibration, natural things, natural items that Mother Earth provides to us.
Yep.
They really raise our vibration. They make us feel so much better. If we put a plant in our bedroom, it'll it'll raise the vibration in the room and make us feel better, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gardeners live longer, you know. It's
Do you
part-
want to like go with your plant?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So our topic really this week is just third eye, the third eye, and what is that, and what is it to be psychic or intuitive? So that's really our topic this week. Yeah.
Well, today I brought in the idea to talk about parsley. And because it's one of those herbs that everybody's really familiar with, and it's going to show up anywhere from in your kitchen to every single restaurant because it's going to add color to the plate. But parsley's a great herbal medicine. What most people don't know, it's like 20% protein. So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's really, really good for you. It's got vitamin A. There's a series of B complex in there, C, K, and it has a really relaxing antibacterial action. So if you're struggling with indigestion, bad breath, you need help with your bladder, kidney, liver, lungs, stomach, or thyroid function, parsley is going to be really good for that. It actually has more calcium, more vitamin C than an orange by weight, which, I mean,
Really?
that would take a lot of
Yeah.
parsley, but it's got a tremendous amount of vitamin C. One of the interesting tidbits about it, though, that I found really fascinating was that it helps with bedwetting.
Really?
So, yeah, if you're
Write
dealing with
that
somebody who's
down.
incontinent or you're training your toddler, just throw some parsley into that smoothie and they will have no idea that it's in there, but that might actually help. So,
Wow.
all around good plant. Yeah. And it looks pretty. It's always going to add color. But yeah, to me, plants are one of those things that are going to add to your daily life. It enhances it, whether you're ingesting it or you're looking at it or you're smelling it and breathing it in. And it's providing oxygen for you and, you know, taking out that CO2 and anything that feels toxic in your home, in your environment. It's helping to clean that air and refresh things. So it's really important.
So you guys, Megan's a badass. So we were trying to make it to the airport, or I was there,
Yeah.
and you were stuck in traffic.
Oh, yeah.
We were going to New York, but later she tells me, well, you know, they took my knives, and she tells me about her machetes that she has for all of her landscaping. I'm like, she's such a badass. All her knives and machetes. It's pretty cool.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I forgot to pull my knife out of my purse because I normally carry a knife.
Yeah.
And so that was confiscated, and I was like, oh. I mean, it was big. It was necessary, I'm sure, but I do,
Right.
and I'd keep a machete under my car seat. No, I mean, it was like, you know, about 6 inches, but it was a tactical knife, so
Yeah.
it's, you know, fairly heavy duty.
Can't take that on the plane.
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Well, so I started to think that I was going to go, well, I'll just say, lapis lazuli, or some people will call it lapis lazuli, or lapis, is the stone I thought of for the third eye, for psychics. There's a lot of, that's a chakra, that we're talking about that's right here at our brow. And lapis is also used for our throat chakra, but it's a good one for the third eye. And I thought, okay, lapis, that's a good one. A lot of people may wear lapis. I think you have it on today. I have it
Yes.
on today. And about 2 years ago, I actually banned it from my store, Soultopia. I didn't buy it for a while because I realized, and there wasn't a lot of literature on this, but I realized that it was the number 2 source of revenue for the Taliban. In Afghanistan, the Afghanistan lapis. Now it comes from different regions, but the Afghanistan lapis is actually very beautiful. And lapis is a metamorphic rock. I mean, it has different things in it. It has some calcite in it, but it has pyrite in it too. The gold, the fool's gold, but it looks gold. So pyrite, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful deep blue, and so I was just like, I'm not going to, support that. I don't want to get into political things really here, but it was the number 2 source of revenue or their funding after really opium, but drugs. And so there's all the mines that they could get this lapis from actually could pull that country out of poverty. But the Taliban was long story short, taking those mines over. So China now buys apparently a lot of the lapis from Afghanistan. And so now we do, I kind of broke down and we still will get it because I'm not always sure exactly where it's from. People will ask you because they want the Afghanistan because it's the higher quality. But that is a great stone. It's a great crystal for your third eye. And what I mean by that is it will help with your intuitive abilities. Even if you're not a psychic per se, it will just help you with that inner knowing of, when you to trust your gut.
Right.
And the other one I brought is iolite. And iolite it's a semi-precious stone. A lot of the jewelers will use it in their jewelry. I mentioned some before the show started. And some of the jewelry I have. It's a purplish blue stone, and it really is the color that the third eye is known for, is purplish blue. So iolite, I think, is a safe, non-political stone and it's actually very affordable. It's maybe about a stone about this, about the size, maybe 2 inches, 1.5 inch, tumbled, is maybe $4, $5. And it is very good to just hold and meditate with, to start receiving visions or things that, messages or just that connecting with your inner knowing. So those are the stones I brought today.
Very cool.
So I found that really interesting about the lapis, though. And I'm opening back up to it, though, because it is so pretty.
Oh, it's a beautiful stone.
It's so beautiful.
And I love the energy of it.
Yeah. And so, so tell me, what do you think? Well, first of all, do you use the word psychic?
I do. I didn't for years. I used the word intuitive. And I went ahead and pulled up the dictionary references on those because I think that's something to really look at, because people, they hear the word psychic and they all of a sudden it puts the fear of God in them. It's like a dirty word.
It is like yeah, it is.
And, and I always call them neon psychics when they have the neon psychic sign. And that doesn't mean that you're not legit if you have a neon sign. It's just, it's a way.
Just like the connotation of what people used to think.
Right. And, when we think of neon signs, we think of beer, we think of fast food, we think of things that are lower end as well.
What's interesting is we used to think of tattoos.
Yeah.
And then tattoos became, I'm just throwing that out
all
there.
the rage. Yeah.
So.
Well, and one of the things, as being a psychic, there is a trend in that now. So, more people are becoming open to it. More people are becoming interested in it. So jumping back to the dictionary, though, good old Webster, it's lying on the outside of the sphere of physical science or knowledge. So the immaterial, moral, or spiritual in origin or force. And it's being sensitive to non-physical or supernatural forces and influences. So a lot of times, this is that sense of having that kind of extraordinary sensitivity. And to me, everybody's got that on some level. It doesn't have to be at the level I'm at or you're at, but we've also spent years honing this in and training with it. And there's aspects that, yes, you're born with it, but I kind of think everybody is. But it's also, if you look at the idea that some people are great artists, some people are great musicians. All of those people work really hard to develop their skills. They just were inherently kind of had a gift for it in the beginning, and that's where you and I come from.
Right. I agree with that. And I think it's interesting, the definition of that, because if you really look at the definition, it's just saying that's not really known.
Exactly.
And isn't that what faith is?
Exactly. Very well. Very good. That's excellent tie-in.
It is. And so we're finding at my store, which is Soultopia, shout out to that, we're finding more and more people every day. It was, for a while, it seemed to be maybe even 2 years ago, the same people would be going to all the stores, and maybe not all the psychics or intuitives in town, but now it is just new people every day. Yep. So when you say people are searching, they are, and they're more open.
Right. And now you said intuitive. So do you consider people that call themselves an intuitive different than a psychic?
I really don't. I
Okay.
think that I'm coming around on the word psychic. I didn't use that word because I do think it had a negative connotation
Right.
that for a while that I wasn't ready to embrace. I didn't want to, just to be totally candid, I didn't want to be affiliated with, a corny type atmosphere. I wanted to present that you can be very ethical and classy, and I'm not saying I'm always classy, but upstanding, but certainly I am ethical, and be all those things. And so I tried a bunch of different words. I was like, okay, I'm a soul coach, and I thought, okay, well that's really presumptuous of me to call myself that. And then I'm an intuitive. Or now we call our readers, because I'm like, well, I like to read books, so I don't know, am I reading? Do I read people? We call them messengers, and I just like to play with words sometimes.
Yeah.
So, but it was interesting when we were in New York. Someone said to you, it was Monty. Monty Farber.
Yeah.
And he said, love him.
And
Wasn't he
he's
awesome?
fabulous. Yep.
From the Hamptons. And he said he was so glad that you used the word psychic. And it really caused me pause, because I thought, it's true. Because when you look at the definition, it's
Yeah.
just what people have done with that word.
Right.
So yes, I'm coming around on the word.
Yeah.
I'm revisiting how I feel about it.
Well, and that's one of the goals, is to kind of break the idea of stereotypes, and that things are changing, and that we've got to be open to like new meanings of words. Our kids, when they text, they're down to like letters, and acronyms for
Emojis.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, consider the word psychic, that it's evolving and becoming something else. Yeah, and intuition is not far off. According to my phone dictionary, it said a direct perception of the truth, factor, etc., independent of any reasoning process. So, there's not necessarily a rationale behind it, but everybody has that spark of intuition in there. So,
And I think it's interesting that you said independent of any rationale. What'd you say?
truth, factor,
Independent
etc.
of any reasoning. Independent of any reasoning, because we added in third eye thinker. Because I do think that we're given our brain for a reason.
Absolutely.
I think we're given our imagination for a reason. So when I teach classes, a lot of meditation tells you just to shut off your brain, no mind, and don't get your brain involved at all. And that's another thing I'm revisiting, because I do think that we're given all that. It's also something that we can use intuitively,
Right.
in our clairs, like clairvoyance, and we can go into that maybe another show. But all the clairs, clairvoyance is clear seeing, and clairaudience, and all those things. And I think that, and I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't think you have to completely just shut off your brain to be an intuitive, but yet you're not giving what Michelle intellectually thinks about the situation.
Right. Well, and since you brought up the clairs, you should probably go ahead and describe that. Clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient.
So clair is a French word for clear. And so there's clairvoyance is clear seeing. There's a lot of them. The most common is clairvoyance. Clairaudience is clear hearing. And what that means is you hear or you see from your third eye. So I call it inner seeing, as opposed to seeing with your outer eyes, which people a lot of times will say, well, I really want to see with I want to see that angel with my outer eye. And I think it's a lot cooler to see it with your inner eye, because I think that's how we originally saw.
Right.
I really do. And so, way back. So clairaudience is clear hearing. And then there's clairsentience, which is clear feeling. That could be like an empath. There's clairtangency, where you hold something in your hand, you get the sense of it. Clairgustance is actually taste. I'm drawing a blank on the smell. I'm drawing a blank on that one right now. It has with something to do with clairscent. Again,
I was going to say, wasn't
but
that the
it's
clairsentient?
clairscent, but it's not clairsentience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and what have I left? I've left something out, and they've added some.
Oh, okay.
They've added some more, but
There's
those
a lot
clairs.
of clairs.
But it's clear. It comes from the French word clear,
Mm-hmm.
and so the ear would be you might, let's say, most major religions, and when I say major, the four most
Right.
populous believe in angels.
Mm-hmm.
It's something most people can agree on. You know, the Dalai Lama says, start with that which you can agree upon. Most people can agree on love. Why do we always start with what we argue about? Let's start with
Right.
something we can agree on. So the four major ones believe in angels. They may believe they did something different, but they believe in them. So the angel may whisper something to you in your inner ear, or they may say, get out if there's a fire, and you may actually hear that out loud. That
Right.
would be your outer hearing versus your clairaudience, where you
Right.
hear it inner ear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So the third eye would be where it's not just the seeing, it's the knowing. Oh, claircognizance.
Ah, yeah.
So that's the clear knowing. It's when you just know something.
Yes, and everybody, I think, has experienced that at some point, where even if they can't explain it, you know, that they need to cross the street right now, or they need to walk into a particular coffee shop, or whatever that situation is. But that's the knowing aspect.
And I'd say listen to your parents, listen to your kids when they know something, especially before the age of 6.
Right. Yeah.
If they just are telling you, I just know it, and really are saying something strongly to you, because that could be just an inner knowing that you have not conditioned out of them yet. Because I believe a lot of our intuition is conditioned out of us. I personally believe, I know for me, I saw a lot of things. I was in church, and they'd be talking about angels, and they'd be talking about spirits, and I'm just going to tell you, I'd see them, okay?
Right.
And there they were. They were all talking about them. They were in the Bible, and I'd see them, and I'd be telling my mom, and she'd be like going, be quiet, you are strange. But yet they're talking about them. So when they're really young, I'd say listen to them, because that claircognizance, like you said, you can't explain how you know it. You just know it. You just know something. And that's really the definition of it, is that you don't know how you know it.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's one of the most prominent clairs, is when and probably the least prominent, they say statistically, is the smelling and the clairgustance, the tasting.
Yeah.
Those are the least. Mediums usually have that. So mediums are the ones that, you know, as you know, that
makes
deal with
sense.
those who have crossed and passed.
Right.
If you think there's a difference.
Well, you know, it's interesting you mentioned about children and how we sort of condition things out of them. You know, I always remember as a kid going, why are you angry? And hearing, I'm not angry, you know, and that's such a thing that we do. We don't mean to turn our kids off to trusting their own senses, but we are trying to, you know, either separate from a situation or not talk about a situation. We are not trying to turn them off, but we do have to be aware that can happen to them.
Right.
So.
I think we were going to take a reading, but I was going to say one more thing. Another interesting just word where it comes from is the third eye is affiliated with the pineal gland, which is right in the middle of our brain, really. And they've shown, I mean, there is a connection that has to do with your melatonin, your circadian rhythms, serotonin in your brain, all that kind of good stuff. So it really affects you. And so they've made a tie between that. There really is something. And that word came from, it's actually shaped like a pine cone. So
Oh, wow.
that word came from the Latin for pine cone, so it's pineal.
That's awesome.
And isn't it interesting, because they gave us pine cones in New York.
Oh, you're
Had you
so
made that
right.
connection?
No.
Yes.
That's
I was like,
so
why'd
cool.
we get a pine cone? It's a third eye. I don't know that they even knew that.
Wow.
Yeah, so they brought us pine cones from somewhere on the beach.
Yeah, from the beach.
Yeah, but that's what the pineal gland means. It's pine cone, and that pineal gland is basically your third eye.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
it's directly connected. All right, so do we want to do a reading?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's take it.
So ahead of time, because it's our first show and we weren't sure exactly how that was going to work, Joaquina was one of the people who asked for a reading.
Okay, excellent.
And so we're going to read for Joaquina.
Okay.
And I've already shuffled these and and cut these. And we've already asked, I have, and I'm sure you have, that these be for the
Yeah.
highest and best good for Joaquina.
And if you all have a question, please post it on our link on Facebook. We're happy to take a look at those and answer a couple every week that we're here. So.
Okay, so I'm just going to, normally we would fan these and pull them, and even the querent, the person getting the reading, would draw these, but I'm just going to pull these off the top
Yeah,
just
no,
because
that's
of
fine.
space, okay? And I'm going to put these where you can see them also. And then I'll move the cards so that everybody can hopefully see these. Can you see them, Megan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, do you want to start?
What was the question? Do we know?
We don't, it was general.
Oh,
A
okay. She
general
just
reading,
wants to
a
know what's
general
going
reading.
on. Okay. Well, she's got a lot of energy right now, and she does. But I've got to say, part of that seems to be like it's working against her. Like she's sending her energy into a direction that is maybe away from her goals, and so somewhat distracted there. And I'm looking at the Prince of Wands, and I'm pulling that. Is this a Illuminati deck?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
And
That's Kim Huggins and Eric Dunn.
okay, very
Yeah.
cool. Next, we've got the moon. And so that's bringing an uncertainty. And if you don't mind, I need to kind of pull it in and
That's
look.
fine.
That's part of my style of reading anyway. Wow, she's trying to figure out kind of like what direction to go. And I do think it seems like it's more clear now than it ever has been, but there's a sense that she's not stepping into it yet, and that she's not particularly, like, she hasn't started that. She's not grounded about it. She's not going in that direction at this moment. She's still kind of up in the air with it. And I feel like she probably needs to get going on this path. So whatever that distraction was that I spoke about a moment ago is maybe keeping her from setting on these new goals. It does look, though, to me with Nine of Pentacles here, that if she takes this direction, it is going to be a really good thing long term for her. It's going to improve self-esteem. She's going to feel more self-confident. It looks like there could be some financial growth with that as well. And it's also feeling like she can finally kind of take herself seriously too, and that maybe she's been in more of a playful, youthful mode recently, which is fun, and we all need that. But sometimes we also want to feel like, okay, I've got my big girl pants on, and so that's what I'm pulling from the reading. Now tell me what you see there.
Yeah, I went immediately to I feel like she's more in her creative space.
Oh yeah.
So she's getting into her creative space, and it's almost like she's getting her wings. She's rearing to go, but at the same time, she keeps pulling back a little. She's pulling back. She's not sure she has everything she needs to accomplish what she's wanting to accomplish. So I believe we're getting a bit of the same thing, just saying in a different way.
Right.
And again, I too feel that she has everything she needs to arrive, if she will fully commit,
Yeah.
and calm it down just a little bit. This feels a little, this is the Prince of Wands and the moon, almost a little mood swingy to me.
Yeah.
Just a little kind of, oh yeah, I'm really excited. Oh, I'm not sure. Really excited. I'm not sure. And once she calms that down just a little,
Yeah.
kind of how we felt before the show.
I exactly went there too.
I knew that's what you were doing. It's like, whoa, and I'm not sure. Whoa, no. Yeah, so once she kind of calms that down, then she's going to step up. And I do feel that she's going to really excel in the area she's wanting to. And I do believe this is in a work environment for her.
Right. Yeah. No, it does
Yeah.
feel like career to me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So get
Yeah.
serious and get committed with it.
That's
so.
what I get.
Awesome.
And so I think that we just gonna have time for no more readings today.
Okay. It's a wrap.
Good, it's a wrap. So I just want to real quickly, can you tell us, Megan, briefly where we can reach you if someone wanted a reading from you?
Okay.
Your website.
My website is tarotdallas.com. That's TAROT Dallas.com. You can book readings with me. I do individuals, groups, and phone readings. So, and what about you, Michelle?
And mine is at www.soultopia.guru. And same, all kinds of stuff, and come to our store. And until next week, keep third eye thinking.
All right. Thank you.